Hi, it's me, Egbert, Egggburt, the owner of this radio station. I invite everyone to listen, no matter if you're young, old, black, white, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, heck, I even want real estate agents listening to my station. Yes, even Rick and Tracy. You're all welcome. Now, it's back to my Goodwill ambassadors, Brad and John.
John, rarely do I wade into political things online, but I sort of got stuck in something over the weekend, and it's still happening, and I want to just run it by you, okay?
Okay, does this have to do with people in Cottleville running their golf carts into people? Because I just heard a safety message about that.
No, it's not. Well, that's happening all over in St. Charles County, not just Cottleville.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't know who this guy is. He shows up on my Facebook feed. And you know what? From time to time, I try to have fun with Facebook. I try to put, funny little things on there. I don't try to say, I can't believe you believe this guy's a candidate. He's he's Satan in a black suit. I'm not that guy, okay? I try to be lighthearted and, and say goofy stuff, okay? Here's a post, and it says, Kevin Swift. I don't know who Kevin Swift is. I think he's one of my friends. I got a bunch of friends. Some of them I know, some of them I don't. His post is, it's time for a woman to be in charge, not a fat orange lump of lies, not again, okay? So, okay, right, we know where he's coming from. That's Kevin Swift. He hates Donald Trump, and he wants, obviously, or at least I would think he wants Kamala Harris. So I go down, and I make a reply. I just put, and here she is. And I put a picture of Tulsi Gabbard in. I have started World War III.
No way. Yeah. By that. And by the way, let's stop here. You said is he your friend on Facebook or just a random guy?
Well, I ain't bragging.
Why would you accept somebody's friend request if you're not actually friends with them?
Well, because of the fact that through the years I've had a lot of people send me friend requests, and quite honestly, I've gotten more, shall we say, judicious about who I become a friend with.
Okay,
but,
yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it seems strange that you would want to let somebody associate with you online if you don't know them.
Well,
but go ahead.
But see, this is the news feed. I don't know if this guy's a friend or not. Matter of fact, let me click.
I got you. Okay, yeah, I didn't mean to derail us.
Yeah, it says we're friends. It says he's a drummer, guitarist, keyboardist, songwriter, writer, illustrator, graphic designer, cat owner. What does that tell you? Okay, never mind. Okay, no guys own cats. Okay, so once again, I post a picture of Tulsi Gabbard. She's in Hawaii. She's in a blue suit, very nice looking. She's got a lei around her neck, okay? So here we go. This starts this incredible thing where and then this guy comes along and Ed Barr says, "Who is that?" And I said, and once again, me being sort of ha-ha, funny, I said, that's a young Richard Nixon. Okay? Ha-ha, funny. Okay?
That's great.
Okay,
Matt. Just
once again, I'm just having fun.
I'm on this thread, by the way. I found it. I'm not even on Facebook, and I found it. Go ahead.
Okay. And then he gets on me about this, and I go back. I go, Ed, the post was, it's time for a woman to be in charge, not a fat orange lump of lies, not again. I agreed. I posted the woman who should be in charge. How is that being? Because he called me a dick.
Like a Richard Nixon.
Right. And then Nicole Olia comes along and she says, that's Tulsi Gabbard, the fake Democrat that joined the Trump team. Okay, so you can see where this is going. So I go back and I write to Nicole Olia, I guess it's how you say her name, Olea. Funny, because the Repubs call her a fake Republican. Maybe if the Dems and the Repubs don't like her, that's something to like. Besides, she's a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves, and she carried a weapon of war in a combat zone. See, I'm getting a little political there, because remember the whole story, what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, Tim Walz.
Right.
Yeah.
He says he carried a weapon of war in a combat zone, and he never did. But
that's so funny.
But Tulsi Gabbard did, because she was in a combat zone, and there's pictures of her walking around with either an M4 or an M16. So I put and then I go back and I do the Wikipedia thing, and I put the Wikipedia page link then. And then Nicole Olia comes back and she says, I know who she is, thanks. And then I come back, Nicole Olia, and I said, she's a great American. Now, John Goodman, I don't think this is the real John Goodman. Maybe it is, for all I know. Let me click on it. Maybe it is John Goodman.
I'm sure it's the real John Goodman. I'm sure he's weighing in on the internet fight.
Oh, no, he's former charge nurse RN at RN, now retired. Former charge nurse RN at Forest Park Hospital, former RN at St. Anthony's. So it's not the same. It's a different John Goodman. Okay, so John Goodman chimes in. She is a joke like RFK. Oh, let's see. What do they have in common? And then Ed Barr comes back. I was asking who it was, and you were giving me no help. I just forgot about her. I remember her name, but couldn't place her face. Thanks at last. Then Nicole Leah comes in. She says, I forgot all about her. I remember her name, but the Trump clown car has had so many insane characters. I need a scorecard. And then Ryan Malloy comes along, and then she says, carrying a weapon of war in a combat zone? Who even talks like that? Stupidity abounds.
That's incredible. Now, Brad, I would point out here's my favorite thing about this exchange, is that as of now, and we're recording this show over the air, live on the radio, it's 7:30 a.m. Central Time. It looks like a lot of these timestamps were from 8 hours ago, which means the people were up posting to Facebook at 11:30 p.m. And this gentleman that just replied, this Ryan gentleman, posted 30 minutes ago. So he posted at 7 a.m. So I'm presuming, let's say Ryan has been up for even 2 hours, that he wants to start his day. Do you know this Ryan guy?
I don't know who he is either. I don't know who any of these people are.
So this guy is choosing to respond to a thread that he wasn't part of originally by saying stupidity abound, and it would have been 7 a.m. So how he's going to start his Tuesday is by arguing with you online. Well, so unless he's a convalescent, and maybe he's got that Stephen Hawking thing where he can just talk into a microphone and it types, he had to actually sit down with his computer or his phone and decide, I'm going to engage with Brad Hildebrand today.
Okay, I looked up Ryan Malloy. He's not a friend. And it says he's a restaurant server at AYA Sophia restaurant. Is that? And he's the owner at the Phoenix Llama Rises. Lives in St. Louis, engaged. Hold it. He's engaged to Nicole Leah. He's the fiance of this woman.
Hey, you know what that's called, Brad? That's white knighting. When a woman is in danger and you come in and you save her from those bad guys on the internet, you're the bad guy, Brad. You are the dark knight. And this white knight is going to come save his fiance. I think that's romantic, actually.
John, do you have a glossary of all these terms? You know, I had that on the BJ show.
And I updated the glossary, by the way.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did. You did a great job, by the way, Brad. The only thing I did was I spelled out Urban Dictionary because a lot of people might not know what it is. I added a term or two there. No, they're just I should add white knighting too, because I think it's important. And anytime you're in a Facebook argument or an Instagram argument and some random chick has her feelings, has a tantrum, a guy will come in and be like, I would never talk to a woman like that. She's white. And by the way, you look great, lady. And I think you're white and men shouldn't talk to you like that. That's white knighting.
I just had a comment. What I need to do is I just need to comment, okay, boomer, and we'll be all over with Facebook. Facebook World War III will continue. Will commence. Okay. See, what's so crazy about this is, I've said this before. I put this on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago, and maybe it was last week. This guy down in Florida, I think it's in Tampa, St. Pete, who started this thing called the Happiness Project. Do you know about this?
It sounds familiar. Tell me what it is.
Well, it's sort of. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. It's pretty interesting in the respect that what it is. Let me find the article.
I think I've seen this. You're supposed to set an alarm for 7 a.m. and start an internet fight with somebody you've never met.
No, that's not it. Okay, here. Let me go to my page. I put it on here, and once again, it started as an interesting story. Matter of fact, there's a couple interesting stories when we talk about this. I found this on the mohistory.org site, which is really interesting, about the Nazi prisoner of war camp in Chesterfield Valley. Did you know about this one?
Oh, yeah, I saw a headline about this, Brad. Yeah. I thought it was nuts. I didn't read the story, though.
Yeah, my dad... I want
you to tell us, after we talk about the Facebook thing, tell us about the Nazi thing.
My dad talked about that because once again, they shipped a lot of the prisoners of war over here to the United States, and they put them to work in farms. And there were a bunch of Nazi prisoners down in Chesterfield Valley. Okay, Here's the article, and this is from Fox 13 News, and this is from St. Petersburg, St. Petersburg, Florida. St. Petersburg man has posted nearly 600 happiness signs around Pinellas County in the honor of his 40-year-old son who jumped off the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, committed suicide. Gary King's passion project is all about spreading positivity. He says, we're in a time period where if there was ever a time for happiness, it's now. King suffers from complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't even know there was CPTSD. In recent years, he learned his 40-year-old son, Jason, also had it after Jason died by suicide when he jumped off the Sunshine Skyway Bridge on July 29, 2012. Jason, he had a heart of cold, but he struggled, and he struggled, and he struggled, King said. Everybody after they're born, that's what they're doing. They're doing the happiness experiment. He said they're looking for something outside of themselves that will change the way they feel internally. King worked with Piranha Signs in St. Pete's to come up with this first design of the sign. It's real simple. It's just a white background. It just says happiness in red, and it's got the red background or red border like highway signs do. And he says the second I put one up, I bolded to a City of St. Peter's city limit sign, and it went viral. I've been putting them up ever since. He says there's 592 of them up in St. Petersburg and Gulfport now. On Monday, King posted his 593rd sign at the Gladden Park where Jason enjoyed playing basketball when he was a child. The city planted a tree in his honor 8 days after his taking his own life. King will soon star in a documentary based on his mission that's produced by Julian Ferris Films. Shooting for the documentary began last June. She said, I had to be in a boat and I had to be filmed underneath the skyway where he hit the water. There's no way for me to explain how hard it was to that, but I had to do it, he said. Although he's almost 80 years old, I'm 89. I'm older than he is. King said he has no plans to stop hanging signs anytime soon. They go, you're climbing ladders and putting up happiness signs. I go, yeah. What happens when you can't climb a ladder anymore? He says, well, I'll buy a bucket truck. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm never going to stop putting up happiness signs. Never, because they save people's lives. Okay, once again, why do we have to be so wound so tight? And and sometimes I will be in places where there's, and you don't have a concealed carry permit, do you?
I would rather not say, Brad.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
But go ahead.
If you take the class, part of the class is they teach you about the law, the legal aspects of having a gun and displaying, waving a weapon around, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I hear.
If you're in any kind of a class like this, the thing they teach you is de-escalation. It's not to the point if somebody runs into you, if you come around the corner, and you're in Schnucks and you come around the corner and your two shopping carts bump, you don't pull out your revolver and go, dude, you ran into my cart. You say,
yeah.
And interesting thing is, there's a guy on the radio who does a show on Patriot 104.9 on the weekends, and he talks about this all the time. He says it's not being less of a man to essentially de-escalate a situation by saying, you know what, I'm sorry. I bumped into you. I didn't see where I was going. It's totally my fault. And the idea being that most people, when something like that happens, nowadays, you go, well, I can't believe the guy did that. I'm going to go key his car, stuff like that. So here's a guy putting up happiness signs. And I saw this, I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe we could start that here. What do you think?
I think it'd be a giant waste of time, and I think most of the symbolism stuff doesn't work. I mean, I think it's good to have somebody in the sunset of their life find some meaning in their son's death, and I think it's overall like I wouldn't allocate any of my time. I'm 46, and good Lord willing, I'll be on this side of the grass for a long time. I wouldn't allocate my resources to things that aren't that important to me. But I think, Brad, you're at 89, and as you enter the sunset of your life, I think maybe that would be a cool project to do.
John, the sun's
I'm not going to help you. I won't help you at all.
The sun's already
but I think it's great.
The sun's already down in my life. I mean, it's been down for about 20 years now. So,
Brad, no. I think those signs, I think they're uplifting. I'm not a fan of the, if you go into a white woman store, which God forbid you got to go into a Target sometime, you see a lot of the signs that they put up in their kitchen that are like, no bad vibes or good vibes only. And I think that's unhelpful because it kind of encourages it does encourage us to overlook, some sad moments or deal with some sad things if we pretend good vibes only. But for this guy, I think it's nice that he's found some meaning, Brett.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was sort of interesting because of the fact that life's too short. And I think that what's happening more and more, and I think social media has done a good job at this, as dividing us, not bringing us together. Essentially to the point where, just like me making a comment about, the guy says, once again, I go back to the post, he never says he's for, Kamala Harris. He just says, it's time for a white woman. Or no, it's time for a woman. And he says, what did he say? A lump of lies or whatever. It's like, okay, whatever.
But don't you think, but hold on though, don't you think, by the way, I agree with you about social media, but if you go back 40 years, we were talking about Ronald Reagan. In the Ronald Reagan era, you probably knew people that if they had a version of Facebook or if they had a version of a message board or something, they would have been complaining about the Iran-Contra or Ali North. Like, there would have been some version of that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we can blame it all on social media.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be. See, here's the difference, okay? The difference is right now I'm holding my phone in my hand, okay? And I can go back to this string or thread or whatever you want to call it, and I can go back to this thing, and I could type in right now. Matter of fact, I can sit here and right now I could actually type it in, and I could say, hey, butthead, you're the stupidest guy in the world. You got crap for brains, and then instantly it turns into, blah, 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 blah. And like within 20 minutes, there's probably 10 posts. Where do you live? I'm going to come kick your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's to the point where it's like, okay, whatever. Give it a rest. It's just life's, once again, life is too short. Life's too short. Now, the interesting thing was, I find these crazy things on my Facebook, on various sites, and I found this one again, and it's to the point where I put this on my Facebook page, and this is a thing called historical picture, okay? Mm-hmm. And it's a picture of an interesting looking car, and it says, here's what it says: Henry Ford's 1941 bioplastic Model T was made of hemp. Your buddy, what's his name again?
No way, Ethan Thampy.
Yeah, was made of hemp, flax, wheat, and spruce pulp, which made the car lighter than fiberglass and 10 times tougher than steel. The car ran on ethanol made from hemp or other agricultural wastes. Thanks for the photo. And it's got Henry Ford, and here's this cool-looking car, okay? Once again, here's the interesting thing. I made I'll tell you what, let's carry this over to the next break because of the fact that I made another comment, which was interesting because if I say the name Ralph Nader, you will know who Ralph Nader is, okay?
Oh, yeah, of course.
What is your opinion of Ralph Nader?
I think that he, for decades, has been a whiny, annoying liberal that partnered with the media to bash corporations left and right. Sometimes where it was warranted. In the case of, what did he write? Unsafe at Any Speed? Wasn't that his first book?
Well, that's exactly what I want to talk about because that came out when way back when in my life, and it bothered me quite a bit for a number of different reasons.
And you could talk about the law of unintended consequences with seatbelts. That'd be a good segue to that for C Block.
Well, but see, the interesting thing about it was there's a lot of things that he came out with which turned out to be good, but like anything, it's like I say with the environmentalist movement, once upon a time, we had smokestacks all over the St. Louis, belching black smoke into the air. Drive around right now, you won't see that. But the problem we have now is we have the environmentalists who say, the safe level for this particular toxin, it's 0.003 points per billion. And they came along and we want to make that 0.006 points per trillion. And you're going like, there's no even equipment that can measure that. We don't care. We want that. We want that even lower. Get what I'm saying? To get to the point where it's like,
I do. You would have gotten hired immediately at Mallinckrodt in the 1920s, Brad. You know what? I know a little place in North County where you can dump some of that radiation.
Don't get me going about that.
Don't listen to the environmentalists, Brad. And by the way, that McClure High School thing that's going to happen way in the future, don't let those people stand around talking. You're hired, Brad. Welcome to Mallinckrodt.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's C-O-M-B-E-S-T, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?